Hi, it's Rees at Farm, and today we are in our amazing pumpkin patch, and I am going to talk about the different types of squash and gourds we grow. Okay, so we are in front of the amazing display that Jane's made. Most of these are gourds. I've had to get Kate's phone up here with some of the names of them because I can't remember them all. We've got these ones are crown of thorns, and these ones are called batwing.
Batwing?
Batwing, that's it, yeah. Does it because you've got the blackness that stays, that's not underripe, that's actually how they are, and sometimes they look like a bat's wing when you're looking at them side on, which is kind of fun. Some of them have got really crazy, they're almost like Eastern European / Russian names: Trinova Koruna and Andaleska Karida.
And I'm sure your pronunciation is bang on.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I am absolutely sure. If anyone wants to ridicule me, then feel free. Yeah, there's some really cool ones. These are actually butternut. So those these are probably the best known squash. You'll see this in the restaurant all the time, that lovely like orange fleshy.
Not the one next to it.
Not the one next, that one is, this one. This one's like a bit of a hybrid. It's had a little bit of a cross-pollination issue. It's half acorn, half butternut. It's got a bit confused, which sometimes happens when they're planted near to each other. Obviously this one is painted. This is not a
They don't grow that way.
pumpkin. So if we take a bit more of a tour around, we'll look at some of the other squashes and pumpkins we've got around the site. All right, so come over to this box here, which is full of Turk's turban squash, and these are really cool if you've got a dinner party.
Shadow.
You can bake them whole, and then when they're partially cooked, you can cut the lid out, take the seeds out, and then stuff them with mince and onions and a few herbs and salt and pepper, and then you've got like this party
That
piece
one,
in
Ralph.
the centre
Turn that
of the
one
table.
over.
Yeah, this one you could like feed 20 people with it, couldn't you?
Yeah, ginormous.
They're really like a bit of a dinner party thing. There's loads of, like all squashes,
Nice.
if you know the names, they've got loads of brilliant recipes on the internet. There's so many these days, it's great. Do you like that, do you, Connie?
That was
So
a
we've
big
got
one as well, isn't it?
Coffee and children out in the pumpkin patch. So these ones are called Lunga de Napoli, and these are a really, really big, heavy, like marrow-like squash. They're about 10 kilos each. And what you can, what you can do is you can cut them into segments and not use up the whole lot in one go. So you can almost like slice a bit off and eat it one day, then slice a bit off and eat it another few days later. So it's like a meal time for like 10 days worth, which is kind of fun. They were I think they're from Italy and raised over there for sort of people who are a bit hard up and needed a budget food item. So these there's a bit of a mix. There's some of the gourds we picked in here.
You can't eat any of these.
No, some of them we can't. So these ones are called Trombo d'Albenga. There are. So look at this one. Look at that one, Connie.
Gentle with them, Connie. So are those
Huge.
ones edible?
These ones are edible. These ones eat a little bit like butternut squash, and I think only the seeds will be in this end bit, which is kind of fun. So you've got all of that is food. Don't climb in there, please.
I know what that one is. That's
This
called
one,
a goose head.
no, it's called a swan neck gourd. I wonder why.
Really?
Why do you think that's called a swan neck gourd?
That's what I meant.
And this is not edible. You can't eat these.
I know.
They're just purely for display, but they are really cool. But they're really, really fragile as well. It's so easy to break them. I know when you were picking them the other day, you were struggling, weren't you, with the team?
I know,
Yeah.
if you cut the top off, it'd be just like a
It's just
monster.
this, where the stalky bits.
Oh, the
off.
stalky bits sometimes snap off. But these are not the same variety. They're completely different. These are edible, these aren't.
What's this one then?
What
That
happens?
is also, that's an immature Trombo d'Albenga, and you can. The cool thing about these is you can actually eat them like courgettes in the summer when they're growing, or you eat them as squash in the autumn / winter once they've set, like they have
So
now.
what are these small ones in the bottom?
They're all
gourds.
gourds.
So
Lots
they're
of
not
different
edible.
types of gourds. You can't eat those.
What happens if you eat a non-edible?
I don't
pumpkin
think they're
squash?
so much poisonous. They're just not very flavoursome. Some of these ones, they were like the traditional baby's rattles. So you'd let them dry out. The colour fades a bit over the winter, but all the seeds then break away from the membrane inside, and you can shake it like a rattle.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So these ones over here are called spaghetti squash. And these are really cool because you can actually cut them in half and bake them for a set amount of time. And once you get to a certain point, you can scoop the seeds out and the membrane comes out like spaghetti. You've done it before, haven't you? You've done
Yeah, I've done carbonaras with it.
Yeah, it's really good fun. For the exact timings, you better, again, look online because they all depend on weight. But they are really, really cool.
It's a really good crop of them this year.
Yeah.
We've had
Not so much flavour in these. It's quite a watery squash.
So they're a little
But-
bit like humongous lemons.
They are a bit, but they don't taste like
They
lemon.
look like melon.
Yeah, melon, yeah.
Yeah, not lemon, melon.
And again, melon's the same family, cucurbits.
Whee.
Well, okay, let's look at these ones over here. So we're over here now with the with this variety of squash, which is kind of cool. They're like a cross between acorn and another type, and they're called harlequin. My dad named them sweet dumpling when he started selling them originally. So we sell these as sweet dumpling. They eat quite nicely. They've got a nice flavour. And then we've also got these munchkin, which everyone really loves. You can bake these in the oven on their own and just have them a little like squash meal to yourself, which are really, really cool. Not very many seeds in them. You just bake them. If you try and cut them open, they're an absolute nightmare. You're better off bake them whole and then scoop the seeds out once they're cooked.
And most people just use these for decoration, don't
Most
they?
people use them for decoration, but these are not
So
gourds. These
beautiful.
are absolutely edible, these are, and they're really quite tasty. Well, these are just baby pumpkins here.
Little.
This one's name is a variety called Weeby Little, which is kind of fun.
Love that.
We be little. How'd they get their name?
Oh,
Oh, someone names them. Someone names them when they produce them. Okay, let's go over to this one. Right, here we are over with the for a farm shop stable squash. This is a Crown Prince, and these are what we sell most of here. They are really heavy because they are extremely dense. There's very little seed cavity in them. It's almost all flesh. And these are an absolutely beautiful squash. If you cut them up into segments and stick them on the roasting tray next to your beef or your chicken, or if you're a vegetarian, you can have them on the side with a veggie loaf. They're really, really, really tasty. Dust them with a bit of oil and a bit of salt and pepper, and they're absolutely beautiful. Again, you can cut them in half, put a bit of cling film around them, keep them in your fridge for a week or so. If you do notice a bit of rot or mould growing, you can just chop it off and keep them a bit longer, which is really, really nice if you want to eat them out a bit. These ones are called Little Gemini. They're a little bit like the munchkin, is that you can bake them on yourself and have them just on your own with a bit of salt and pepper and a bit of butter, maybe a bit like a baked potato, and they are really, really tasty. And we've got some acorn over here. Go and look at them.
acorn.
So here we go. These are called acorn squash, and we've literally got 2 ton of these this year. They've grown really, really well, which is great. And
So this is the one that was
this is
hybrid with that
that's
butternut
it.
squash over there.
There's the yes, that's it.
butternut
The
squash
hybrid.
at the
These
start.
ones are also closely related
one.
to these ones, which is kind of cool.
I would say it's what the next one is a little bit like
Do you know what that is?
one of those green peppers.
It does a little bit look like a pepper, doesn't it? It's got that bell shape. Some of them are onion shaped, some of them are bell shaped, which is kind of cool. Okay.
We found a big one.
They're
Oh,
orange and black.
yeah, good job.
Right, let's go and look at the white pumpkins.
Go on.
So that's one of our
Careful with
giant
it,
white
please.
pumpkins.
A giant white.
So I think it probably weighs a bit more than you, Ralph.
This one wolf.
Pumpkin, yeah, there is a variety called wolf. I don't think it's that one.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if it's on the list. It's on Mummy's phone. I can see if I can find out which one it is.
I've got another big one.
Polar bear,
Leave it,
they're
leave it
called.
there, that's for it.
And then the
Polar bears.
smaller white pumpkins are called Blanco.
I don't.
So there's a variety called Blanco, and then polar bear are the big ones. So some of these you can eat all of these. There's nothing wrong with eating pumpkins. Green ones are no good, but orange and white pumpkins, once they're mature, you can actually eat them.
These are orange
If you
and green.
It is.
So yeah, that's right. So you can cook them in, scoop the flesh out when you carve them. The seeds are really cool. We've roasted them before, haven't we, Kate?
Yeah,
We just put them in a
seeds.
grill and a bit of salt and pepper before they dry out, and they're really quite tasty as like a table snack. With the seeds, the top of the seeds, it's worth trimming off before you cook them, or after. It's a little easier to handle after they're cooked. Loads of recipes online again, and they're like a really cool little table snack. So we'll sit there in front of the TV where you're watching and want a little tasty snack.
Are you saying the flesh from the pumpkins is fine as well? It's just
the flesh
needs
from
more
the pumpkin.
flavouring.
The
of a
seeds, no,
pumpkin.
the seeds you can eat.
You can't eat the flesh of a pumpkin.
Yeah, so you can scoop. So what you can do is you get the membrane around the seed, scoop that out. That's not really any use. I'm sure there's something you can use it for, but I've never come across it. Scoop that out to keep the seeds. I think you have to wash them in like a salt solution, which makes them a little less sticky. And then you can scoop the flesh out, and you can use that if you scoop it. So there's the remainder of the wall of the pumpkin's only so thick. You can use the rest of the flesh to make like pumpkin pie or pumpkin tarts or whatever you want to, like that really. if you're actually eating for the best flavour of squashes, the squashes are grown to be eaten. Pumpkins can be eaten, but they're generally better mixed with sugar or something else put into another mix. Oh no, it's just marrows I can see here. So marrows are a type of, they're almost their own subspecies, a bit like courgettes. And incidentally, we call them courgettes in the UK, which is derived from, I think, a French. So it's small, which basically translates to small marrow. I'm sure someone's going to correct me on this, but then when you go to America, they call them zucchini, I believe, which is the Italian translation of small marrow. So it's quite funny that with different continents use a different language to describe the same thing in English. So you can cut these up. You can use again the Sunday roast. You can cut them into segments though. You scoop the seeds out and bake them with the segments down, stuffed with. You don't have to put it with a roast, you can have it as its own meal, but you stuff them a bit like mince and onions, a bit of salt and pepper. John the farmer who used to work here, he used to rave about that. He'd always take a pepper home with him, he'd cook them with Jane. And that's right.
Careful.
So they'd be really, really fun. Now there's a couple of varieties which we picked yesterday which haven't made it out here yet, so we'll just pop behind the scenes and see if we can grab them back behind in the store. I didn't actually need to go behind the scenes because I found this box I put in last night I've forgotten about. So these ones are called delicata that I've got here. Delicata. And these are really, really nice flavour. You can bake them whole, you can cut them up again like butternut squash where you use the segments. Really, really tasty flesh. Smaller butternuts here, we've got different varieties, so if you're a smaller family or just on your own, you can have the smaller butternut. And then these ones are kabocha, small green kabocha. There's two varieties, there's an orange one and there's the green one, and these are the green ones. And these are a little bit like Crown Prince. And like all squash, the older they are, the later into the winter they're kept, the better the flavour. As they dry out, they get a really nice mature flavour. They'll taste completely different in February to what they do now, which is really fun. If you've got the ability to store them and keep them a bit, or come and buy them from us later in the season, or from your favourite local outlet, that's a really, really nice way to get a really, really tasty squash. All these varieties are obviously available at the farm shop as well. Once we close the pumpkin patch, all of these then get boxed back up that are left over, and they get sold throughout the winter on our famous squash trolley. I've got some pictures, I'll probably overlay them here, which will be fun for you to see. And so yeah, thanks for coming out. This is a lovely sunny day in October. It's shorts and t-shirt at the moment, but next week it looks like it's going to be back to trousers and raincoats and wellies. But thanks for coming along on the journey for us, and we'll catch up with you again soon.